What's up, everyone? Welcome to I believe it's episode 9 or 10 of MMA Holics. Either way, welcome to our next new episode. Today, we're going to do the UFC 298 preview. We got a special guest, as always, for the pay-per-views. Welcome in, Pick'em MMA. How you doing, Pick'em? You good, bro?
I'm in fabulous day, bro. What about you guys?
Doing all right, man. It's chilling, man. Ready to break down this awesome card, man. How you feeling, Nikki? You good, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Had a long week of school, so now we just get to get ready for these fights.
These fights on Saturday, yeah, I know, man. Yeah, I'm super excited for it, bro. But yeah, y'all. With that said, we can go ahead and get started. First fight of the night, we got Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick. Yeah, man, you can go ahead and give your pick in this fight first. Pick and go ahead, bro.
I think Maverick should run through her like with wrestling. Whoever gets the wrestling going early is gonna win this fight.
Right.
I'm not really betting on either one of these girls, but I do have the over 2.5 rounds in a parlay. I think that's gonna come through. This fight's gonna go the distance more than likely. So Maverick should win. She's 10 years younger, almost like a couple. I think it's almost 10-year age gap, and I think she's more hungry too. And really, like she's taking on tough matchups. I mean, took on Natalia Silva, Araujo. Other one was Macy Barber. So that Macy Barber fight on either way, to be honest. But I think it's Maverick's time now. So Maverick for the win, decision. Over 2.5 fight goes the distance is what I like here. So that's it pretty much.
Now I feel you, Nikki. Yeah, pick up my bad. Yeah, I was gonna say you can go ahead and give your pick next, Nikki. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I like that the 10-year age gap in it. Miranda's really young. She's a good fighter. I have her winning by probably a submission. I think she'll crank out like an armbar or something. I can see going decision. That's like an obvious pick there. I like that one a lot. But I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt that she'll finish this fight.
I feel. Okay, I got you. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a clean sweep on this one. I'm gonna go with the youth of Miranda Maverick, the aggression. I know she lost that Jasmine Jastovicius fight, man. But I feel like she should really, like, knowing her personality, like she's gonna make the improvements from her performance like that. And I think a big problem for Andrea Lee will be the wrestling. I think Miranda Maverick will be able to implement her game plan and get her to the ground. She's dealing with a big reach disadvantage in this fight, but she's a smart girl with a good camp. I think they're gonna compose a good game plan to really try to get around that. And yeah, man, like she's fairly durable. With a lot of heart. She's a hard worker. I believe she was a teacher, teaching at the same time she was a UFC fighter when she first started in the UFC. So that definitely shows the work ethic that Miranda Maverick has. And yeah, man, I was gonna go with Miranda Maverick in this fight, just the youth. And Hill's coming off. Not Hill. Lee's coming off 3 losses. Again, they were against good competition, so I see why some people would be on Lee's side. But me personally, I really think that just like that young youth momentum, Miranda Maverick can really take Lee out in this one. To be quite honest, and I kind of agree with what Peyton said. I think the wrestling can really just like help her, just run right through her with the game plan. And yeah, man, I'm gonna go with Miranda Maverick in this fight as well, y'all. But yeah, moving on, we got Valentine Woodburn versus Oban Elliott. Yeah, man. So we got Valentine coming out back in this one, man. He's gonna try to get a bounce back performance. We saw how it went when he first came in versus Bo Nickel. I mean, like everyone knew what that fight was. He took it on short notice. Up at middleweight. For those that don't know, this fight is actually at welterweight, so he's gonna have to try to make the weight. So it actually makes it kind of interesting. I mean, some people actually believe he still might be a little bit undersized for welterweight, coming in at 5'8". But I mean, hey, like he's still a big, stocky guy with some decent power. So we'll see how it goes for him. But who you got in the fight, pick him? You can go first, man.
I think Elliott's gonna have the speed advantage here. He's gonna have the wrestling, a cardio. It's gonna favor him. He's coming into this fight at 3-1, so obviously you can't really bet him. He's coming off Dana White Contender Series. He was underdog on Dana White Contender Series against Kayak Brito. Brito is very more technical. Hits has that reach, height, and technical striking to really crack guys. And he almost got finished in the second round against Kayak Brito. So that was a tough matchup for him. He really showed how tough he really is. That's why he really got signed up Dana White Contender Series, because normally Dana doesn't sign you if you don't go out there get a finish, or if it's a fight. If it's an exciting fight, I mean, he'll sign you then. So that's why he got signed there. And I think this is going to be easier matchup for him here. I honestly think he can find a late finish too. I think he can find like a late ground and pound stoppage, because he's got some nasty ground and pound when he lets his ground and pound go. He's got the cardio to take these guys into deep water. Now Woodburn's he's gonna be a little bit slow. He looked kind of stiff and slow, stuck in the mud against Bo Nickel, but that's Bo Nickel, man. Debut against Bo Nickel, took that fight on short notice. So more open Elliott by like late TKO, but I'm not betting this fight. I'm putting money on this one.
Nah, I feel you. I could see why you wouldn't. You can go ahead, Nikki, give your pick second, brother.
Yeah, this one it was weird because like I was trying to like think of ways that I wanted to pick Val because like I don't want to root against him right now, but he just did not look good in any way in the Bo Nickel fight, and maybe it was like the star power coming at him a little bit. Like that could genuinely be a factor of that fight. But I mean, he literally was looking like he was waiting for the punch to come hit him. There's nothing for me to like pick him. I think the safest thing to do is to pick Elliott. I have him winning by decision because I think that the highlights we saw before the Bo Nickel fight with Val, he did look like he had like good striking and stuff. So I think he can do a decision. There's got to be a reason Dana has him here. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say they'll go to decision. I got Elliott by decision.
Okay, yeah, hey, that's another clean sweep on this card, man. I was gonna go with Oban Elliott, the technical striking of Oban Elliott. He's coming in with the size advantage too. Obviously, he's made the weight at welterweight before too, so it's his weight class. He's comfortable down here. It's good size for the weight class too. He's 6 foot with a 72-inch reach, so definitely think that's pretty tailor-made in terms of going against Valentin Woodburn and it being able to use his size as an advantage. And yeah, man, I really like the momentum that Oban Elliott's on right now. He's on a really good win streak. Looked great on Contender Series, in my opinion. And yeah, I made this for Valentin Woodburn. Like I think he's going to be so focused on trying to cut the weight that it's going to be detrimental to his training camp. And even then, when he makes it to the cage, it might have really drained him from performing to the best of his abilities. So, and I really think that just like the overall size of Oban Elliott, he can use it to his advantage. And yeah, man, it's unfortunate. I don't want to see Valentin lose 2 fights in a row inside the UFC. You never want to see a fighter get chewed up and spit out like that. But I just think it's kind of another bad matchup for Valentin Woodburn. And then, yeah, man, I was going to go with Oban Elliott as well. But yeah, moving on to a welterweight banger, in my opinion. I think this fight's honestly guaranteed to end in a finish, and I'm pretty excited for that. You can give your pick first, Nikki. Go ahead.
Oh, you got me first. All right. So this fight, I was very torn between because like Barlow, he has, I think it's like it's a big reach advantage right here. 80 to 70, that's a huge reach advantage, which is like kind of crazy in this fight because I mean he has crazy knockout power. If you like look at his fights, he's finishing dudes. I mean, he's finishing dudes.
That nickname is hilarious.
He only lost in combat jiu-jitsu. So I mean, maybe the rules. I didn't really look into that fight too much, but maybe the rules are a little different there. But I mean, dude, he's finishing dudes. I put down Danny Barlow's gonna knock him out. That's what I put.
Yeah, nah, man. Honestly, yeah, man. I'll go ahead and give my pick second. I got that left hand sending him to God. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do think he can actually get the knockout, replicate the same success that he's been doing. Yeah, man. He's really shown that nickname really does hold true. Really, really versatile on the feet. But even then, when it comes to his ground game, he got a Kimura as well, so you really can't sleep on his submissions. That really shows that he's really working on the full facet of martial arts, but he just has that natural God-given power of that left hand. And yeah, man, Josh Quinlan, he knocked out Scott Holtzman, and he looked good on Contender Series, you feel me? Getting that crazy knockout. But after that, he had popped on that drug test, And I said it was Scott Holtzman. It was actually Jason Witt he had knocked out. And even then, like in the Trey Waters fight, I felt like he didn't really look the same. Like Jason Witt kind of was chinny. And when it came to Trey Waters, like that wasn't really that big of a step up in competition. And Trey Waters won that by unanimous decision. So I really think that there was something kind of fishy going on during that Contender Series debut. And yeah, man, I think that Danny Barlow's looked really clean thus far in his career. Like super clean, you feel me? And yeah, man, I think Danny Barlow's gonna get it done. I got Danny Barlow coming with a second round knockout. I'm gonna be surprised if there was a first though. How you feeling, Pick'em? Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think Danny Barlow is the real deal. He was underdog in Dana White Contender Series over Raheem Forrest. Looked pretty good out there. Raheem Forrest is known for has some good speed, hand speed, good striking too. And Danny Barlow trains out of Law School MMA, so we got a lot of prospects coming out of Law School MMA right now. And he's got a good ground game too, pretty decent ground game. He knows what he's doing on the ground. Obviously, he hasn't really faced anyone good in his career other than Raheem Forrest, so worried about him coming in unexperienced, but he's not really taking on anyone with a lot of experience in the UFC. So Josh Quinlan, he knocked out Jason Witt. Jason Witt's been knocked out like 7 or 8 times now, so I don't really hold any stock on that one. So, and against Trey Waters, I mean, Josh Quinlan, I bet on him against Trey Waters. Trey Waters took that fight on like short notice too, and Trey Waters was coming off a submission loss to Gabriel Bonfim. I think it was in a White Contender Series with the one fluke choke. So Quinlan, like, he was spamming left hooks. His last fight over Trey Waters couldn't really get anything going, didn't really change the game plan, didn't shoot a takedown. So I don't think we're gonna have to worry about Danny Barlow getting taken down or controlled on the ground.
Nope.
I think Danny Barlow is gonna knock him out. I think first round knockout for Danny Barlow. I think he's gonna catch him in the first round. So first round knockout for Danny Barlow. I like the under 1.5 rounds at plus money too.
Nah, I agree with you, man. I can honestly say this is probably my favorite early prelim. But it's pretty fun and it's pretty funny. Even saying that about our next fight. This 205 banger we got coming up, neither of these guys really have like the best defense. So I think between Mingyang Zhang and Brenson Ribeiro, this is definitely going to be a knockout as well. But yeah, man, moving on to the next fight. It's a decent one, in my opinion. Like I just described it, it's definitely going to end in a finish, in my opinion. Mingyang Zhang, this dude's really young, man. He's 25. And, for light heavyweight, that's, he has a lot of time left, as long as he can keep winning. We saw him come out of China. He has a lot of knockouts. So he has 10 wins by knockout, but he has 3 losses by knockout as well. He has six wins via submission, 2 losses via submission, and he's never won by decision, but he's lost by decision. So at least he's a finisher when it comes down to it. And yeah, man, again, this dude's really young. He's 6'2" with a 75-inch reach. And yeah, man, he's a pretty decent fighter. The Mountain Tiger and his opponent, Brenson Ribeiro, 15-5. This dude's even bigger than him. He's 6'3" with an 81-inch reach. So that shows you these guys definitely some good size light heavyweights. And yeah, man, he has 9 wins by knockout, but he's been knocked out twice himself. So I'll let you know it's coming. He has 6 wins via submission and 2 losses via submission, and he's never won via decision himself. So this is definitely going to end in a finish, to say the least. And yeah, man, going to my pick in the fight, I was going to go with Ribeiro. I think he's a good striker, man. I think he's a really good striker. Some of the competition that Mingyang Zhang fought on the regional scene in China wasn't really the best. Some of the guys, were 2-2, 1-2, 5-8, stuff like that. And I really think that Ribeiro's beating a little bit better competition. Beating the dude 29-18, beating the dude 7-1, and even then on Contender Series, Bruno Lopez, he was 11-0, and he knocked him out in the first round. So yeah, man, I'm gonna go with Ribeiro in this fight. But how you feeling, Pick'em? Go ahead.
That Bruno Lopez guy, I mean, he was a 6-1 favorite because he had the grappling advantage, didn't shoot any takedowns out there, was striking with Brenson Ribeiro,
right?
And got knocked out with the left hook, but and that was kind of shocking. I mean, Bruno Lopez is a pretty decent prospect, though. Obviously isn't known for striking. I'm gonna go with Zhang here, but I'm not putting any money on this one. And, I like his chin a little bit more. I think his last fight over Tokos, he got cracked with some big shots, and he used to fight at heavyweight before too. Zhang is a heavyweight. Right. He moved on from light heavyweight. I mean, so now he's at fighting at 205. So one of these guys is gonna go to sleep for sure. Obviously, Zhang has fought absolute cans in China, so I don't know how good Zhang really is, but he's been training at Extreme Couture with Strickland and those guys, so he's going to be getting in good work with those guys. So I don't think Ribeiro's all that technical. Obviously, he's got the 81-inch reach, which can definitely help him land those jabs, body kicks, and those he's got a nasty jab on him with those left hooks. So. This fight ends in round 1 by knockout. I like that one, but I don't know if I can get there. It's not even going to be any it's going to be way too wide. Under 1.5 is like minus 300, so nothing really left on for betting wise. Maybe Brinson by around 1 KO plus 400 if you guys like the Brinson side, but I'm just going to leave this alone. We don't know too much about these guys. Jang by KO round 1 is the pick, but I'm not really putting money on this one.
Nah, man, I definitely see why. How you feeling, Nikki? Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, great picks from you guys. This one's cool. So we got the road to the UFC versus the Contender Series. You got Dana's two big things going against each other. But I think the reach is big for Ribeiro. I think that's a great advantage. But what I noticed is that these dudes are both prone to like finishes. Like I got it right here. Zhang has been finished 5 times outside of the UFC, obviously, and Ribeiro 4 times outside of the UFC. But they're getting finished by dudes that are on the regional scene. So it's like, yeah, 100% this fight is going to be a finish because they both have crazy knockout power. I got Zhang by first round knockout.
yeah, man, we're gonna see how it goes, man. Again, like, it's gonna be a car crash, it's gonna be a train wreck, and we're gonna see how it goes, man. But yeah, moving on to the next one. Yeah, man, this next fight. So Renan Nakamura, as I was doing my research last night, this was like a minus 1,300 favorite. On the betting line. Last time someone was that big, it was like Bo Nickel. So that'll definitely let you know what we're working with here. This guy has a monstrous wrestling base. He's a great wrestler. He was showing his striking in his last fight now. So that definitely shows that he's improving with every fight. And Renya, he's young, man. He's 28, obviously undefeated, 5'7" with a 68-inch reach. And yeah, man, I mean, he has 5 wins via KO. So the fact that, I mean, again, we know how the Japanese and China, like regional scene can be in China and stuff like that. But I really feel like it's more about what he's shown in the fights, and he's shown a lot of promise. Really tremendous skill set, and yeah, man, in terms of his opponent, Carlos Vera, this guy is 36 years old. I believe this is his UFC debut. He's coming in, man, and like, hey, never give up. I mean, never give up, man. Like, if you have a dream, always stick to it, no matter what you want to do in your life. You feel me? Never let anyone tell you can't achieve it. You can do anything you put your mind to. It's just when you come over to the UFC, like, you got to fight who they give you. And I think this is just a really bad matchup for Carlos Vera, man. I think, like, Renya can either get the takedown or get the knockout. If I got to give a method of victory, I'm going to go with Renan Nakamura by like a first-round submission. I think he's going to go out there, try to get an early takedown, get him to the ground, and then try to get like an arm triangle, something like that. Or, he could get a first-round knockout. But either way, I'm going to go with the first-round submission for Renya. How you going, pick him? Go ahead.
Nakamura is absolutely going to smoke this guy. But Carlos Vera was supposed to take on Daniel Marcos, I think, a couple of fights back. Then he was supposed to fight Victor Hugo Silva. You remember that one? Remember that?
Yeah.
What happened with that matchup? Was Victor Hugo Silva sick? I think it was Carlos Vera that was it him that pulled out? I can't remember exactly. So he's had some couple of cancellation matchups. Even the fights that he's won, I mean, I watched a couple of his fights. He was losing a couple of those grappling exchanges, so he's not even that good of a grappler either. He's got good cardio though, pretty good durability. I don't think he's ever been knocked out. I think he's gonna get knocked out here though. Nakamura, like you can't even really bet this line. I mean, what is it, like minus 1,300 now? Like, what are you gonna do with this?
It's 850 on here. It says
850.
Okay,
but that's topology. It's changing.
Nakamura, yes, it should be like minus 1,300 right now. I think last time I saw it was like minus 1,200.
Right.
Nakamura should win. I mean, I know he couldn't finish that Fernie Garcia guy, but Fernie Garcia's got a chin on him. That dude was still, he got a standing TKO'd. You could have let that fight go. I mean, Fernie Garcia, he could have just gone to decision against Hyder Amil. I mean, that guy hits fucking hard. Right. But I know Nakamura absolutely dominated him. I think that fight was on that Holloway versus John B card, I think, if I remember. So he dominated him. I think he's gonna dominate Vera. I think he's gonna knock him out. I don't think he's really gonna go to the wrestling. Vera's striking is not up to par with the UFC level. So Nakamura by round 1 TKO is what I like, but what are you gonna do? You're not even gonna get plus money on the betting him by knockout right now. It's gonna be like inside the distance for Nakamura is like minus 570. So nothing really there. But he's gonna smoke Carlos Vera. That's why he's minus 1,300 or 1,200.
Nah, I get it, man. And hey, I'm looking at Bovada right now on the MMA betting. As you record this at 12:23 in the afternoon, Renan Nakamura is a minus 1,400 100 favorite. If you're betting on Carlos Vera, he's a plus 725. So if you're a high roller, I say go for it. Anything can happen in a fight. You feel me? But hey, man, I'm the best of luck to Carlos Vera. Like I said, never give up, baby. But yeah, moving on to the heavyweights, Marcos Rogerio de Lima, the Pizarro, versus one of the Tafa brothers. We got Justin Tafa coming out. We're gonna see how this fight goes, man. Now I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I was thinking about this fight last night, and like yeah, man, I was kind of up in arms about it. I don't think it's just like that simple. Like I do think that like De Lima is a good veteran. I think that he might be able to weather some of the storm that Tafa might be able to throw. At least like it's just because it really all depends how it comes after that Derek Lewis knockout. That occurred at UFC 291. This is UFC 298. So obviously he got a decent break, but like still though he has a lot of fights. You could definitely make the case he's taking a lot of damage in his career. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, with all the wars he's had. I mean, like it's pretty crazy. He only has 2 losses via knockout, but again, like with all of his fights, especially at heavyweight, there can definitely be a lot of damage accumulation over time. It's just he's a real grizzled veteran though. Like, will he be able to get Tafa to the ground and really hold him on his back and really stop that devastating boxing power and like all of that, or will Tafa be able to stop the takedowns and just really sprawl and brawl and just get the first round? Man, again, I was going back and forth over this last night, but man, I'm still kind of going over it. I wrote down Justin Tafa. I did. I'm gonna stay with the pick. Man. I'm gonna stay with Justin Tafa. I think he can get the first round knockout. He comes from a good camp, with his brother and training with Taito Ibasa. And we know how devastating he is when it comes to his power. All 7 of his wins are via knockout, so that definitely lets you know how devastating the hands are. And yeah, man, I think he really has to keep the fight standing, really avoid the takedown. I think if they go blow for blow, I do think he can get the knockout, and I think he's looking better in his matchups, man. I get it. You can't really say much about the competition, Harry Hunsucker, Parker Porter, Austin Lane, but again, it's more about what he's shown in the fights. We saw what happened with the first Austin Lane fight with the eye poke, and we see by knocking him out in a minute and 21 seconds. So, yeah, man, I think that Tafa can get the knockout. I think De Lima's had an accumulation of a lot of damage throughout his career. He's coming off a devastating flying knee KO from Derek Lewis's knee. That's a pretty big knee. Yeah, man. So, again, like I know he's had some time off, but I do think that the accumulation of damage, along with that recent devastating result, I'm going to go with Justin Tafa by a first-round knockout. How you feeling, pick him? Go ahead, bro.
I mean, Derek Lewis, just who predicted him flying knee? Not by me. I mean, I didn't see that coming. Like him just going out there, he took his teeth out too, right? He fucking just his teeth went off flying. It was like crazy. Then Derek Lewis hit him like with like 50 ground and pound shots. I was like, I don't know why that fight was not stopped like before that. I was like, I mean, De Lima is tough though. He didn't tap. Some people did tap to strike though, like start tapping and shit. Oh, let me just tap out. Let me get out of here. De Lima is tough. I'll give him that. He's freaking tough, man. That was the first time that he's ever knocked out too. I think I could be wrong about that. Was that the first time that he's knocked out?
It says 2 yards. Because
first time in the UFC. Yeah, you're right. First time in the UFC. But yeah, I don't know. De Lima, like he's got good grappling, good leg kicks. He was beating up Cortez Acosta on the feet too.
Yeah.
Then I think he dropped Cortez Acosta one time too because you're worried about the takedowns or you don't really see his hands coming behind it. I'm gonna roll the dice here, go with the Tafa brother because I'm a big fan of Tafa brothers. I like these Tafa brothers.
Let's go, baby.
But their grappling like is a big hole in their game. I mean, Junior Tafa got out wrestled by Muhammad Usman, so I mean, but even on the feet, I mean, all he needs to do is land one of those bombs, and he can definitely put a De Lima out. And De Lima's 40 years old now, and so coming off one of the most brutal fucking knockout
heavyweight, like for real.
Tafa by KO round 1. If it goes past round 1, I think De Lima just gonna outwork him or like find a late submission. If he gets Tafa on his back, Tafa's not going to be able to get up. I know Tafa has 100% takedown defense, but he has not fought anyone. I mean, who has he fought? Harry Hunsucker, Parker Porter, the GOAT. Who else has he fought? I mean, I can't remember. De Castro knocked him out. I think De Castro was in the PFL now. So Tafa, I'm going to roll the dice on Tafa, but I'm not. I bet on him half a unit. I put in Tafa, but I'm probably just going to, I don't know. Maybe I'll just let it ride, but I don't feel too good about it. This is a weird fight.
I agree. How you feeling, Nikki? Go ahead, bro.
I'm confident in Justin Tafa. See, like the Australians, bro, what they have is like pressure, like just crazy pressure when they fight. I don't know what it is, but like all of them, when they hit you like 3 times in a row and you just like wobble just a little bit, the fight's practically over. It's just a matter of how long you could weather the storm. And that was a good point. Like if Dilemma could make it to the second round, maybe it could change. I just think like even if it does, like Justin Tafa is just gonna be like one of those fights. Like remember like the Gazia fight like recently when just punching him and there's just nothing to do about it. I think it's gonna be very similar to that. I got Tafa by first round knockout.
Hey man, we're gonna see how it goes. I feel pick him on it though. Like yeah, is he rolling the dice? We all are rolling the dice. I feel Nikki though. He's confident, man. I feel him like off his research. Like we're gonna see how it goes. I mean, I do think Toph can get the first round knockout too. So, hey man, it's another clean sweep for the boys. And moving on to this straw weight match. Of course, we got Mackenzie Dern taking this on relatively short notice. Of course, you still had a little bit of a training camp. We can give your pick first. Pick him. Go ahead.
Is this the feature, the headliner? Why is this a feature headliner?
Yeah, feature prelim. Yeah. And keep in mind, we lost some fights on this card. We got like 12 fights coming in. And yeah,
we're supposed to have Ikram on here, right?
Yeah, Carol versus Fluffy. Yeah.
Anthony Hernandez. Yep.
Then Barlow was supposed to fight Kinoshita. Remember? I mean,
Kinoshita. Yes, he was.
I thought he was gonna smoke him bad. I mean, Kinoshita. Dodged the bullet there, but for this fight, I mean, Amanda like Dern's takedowns. I honestly thought her takedowns were improving. Honestly, thought her striking was improving after the end of Hill fight. I was like, okay, her hands are looking clean now. She can strike now, but she goes out there, actually gets smoked. I mean, got knocked down like 4 times over from Andrade, and then she's shooting takedowns when she's getting knocked down after. Like, doesn't shoot takedowns right away. She's not the type of girl to go out there shoot takedowns right from the get go. She's gonna like strike with you for a bit, then see how things go. Then when things don't go her way, then she's gonna try to go for desperate takedowns. I think Amanda Lemos is gonna knock her out. I really do. Now the age factor does concern me. She's 37 years old
36.
now. So 36, almost 37. So
something like that. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Like she opened up at -250. I wasn't really gonna play her -250, but at -120, pick 'em odds. Like I'll take the girl that has better striking. She's tough, man. She's really tough. Like she got absolutely beat the piss out of her by Bailey. I mean. And I had the under 4.5 rounds there, under 3.5 rounds, because I thought Bailey was going to stop her. And the referee should have stopped the fight, to be honest. I mean, that fight was like, she took a ton of damage. So that's why I think the lines are close, because she took a ton of damage. And at 37 years old, 36, you can't really be taking damage like that.
Right.
But this is a good matchup for her. She was preparing for Tatiana Suarez, who's a like really strong wrestler. And I think Dern's takedowns are not going to be as good as Tatiana Suarez. And I heard she's only got 14% takedown accuracy, which is not even nearly enough. She went normally goes 1 for 8. She gets 1 takedown if she's lucky. Even against Angela Hill, she was able to get the takedowns when she knocked down Angela Hill somehow. Like, cause I don't know what was going on with Angela Hill in that fight. But I think Amanda Lemos by TKO. I'm willing to bet her at -125, to be honest. I already put out 1.25 units on her. Amanda Lemos money line. I don't know if she might not get the knockout. She might knock down Mackenzie Dern. Dern is pretty tough. And then most might gas out after like the second round, because same thing happened against Angela Hill. She just gassed out later, even though she wants to split there. But I think she can do enough to win this fight, either by knockout or decision. I'm going to say knockout for Lemos. That's pretty much the breakdown for this one.
Right, now I get it. Yeah, you know how to give your pick next, Nikki. Go ahead, bro.
All right, so with this fight, so Dern in her last fight, she lost to Andrade, but I said this before the fight, like Andrade is still a good fighter. Like you can't count her out. So okay, the thing I said last time, I'm gonna say it again. she has great submissions, Dern. She just has trouble getting it there. But like I
Right.
follow her on Instagram. Obviously, I follow her on Instagram, and like, but she trains so much in her takedowns and her transitions now. Like she's a good fighter. She's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I think eventually her takedowns are gonna improve and lead to submissions. Will it be this fight? I don't know. She might get boxed. Like there's like a very good possibility. I want to take Mackenzie Dern for a submission in this fight.
Woo! Yo.
Eventually, she has to get these takedowns. Like they have to click for her. I think it's the
Mhm.
problem is they're not clicking, but eventually they will. It's not like she just sucks at takedowns. Because I bet you when she's in her gym, she's sparring with girls, she's probably taking them down and getting a quick
Right.
tap out of them, and they're hard spars. But I think eventually it has to click for her. Will Lemos be the one? I don't know, but I'm gonna ride with Dern for this one.
Mm-hmm. Now I get it. Like great breakdowns, gentlemen, from both of you. Of course. Yeah, this is one of those fights, man. I feel like it's obviously with the two results we just had, it's not that easy to come to a conclusion in this. It really depends how is Mackenzie gonna look without Jason Perillo in her corner, man. Like, I really don't know what the details were behind them splitting up and.
She's dating her new coach, I think. No, she's dating her new coach, or if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, because I know she got a new boyfriend. But like, okay, so all right. I mean, like, you might be right. I didn't know that. I knew she had a boyfriend, but it might be her new coach. Indeed, you might be right about that. So yeah, like, I mean, even then, from what we've seen, like if he was with her, I mean, depending how long they got together, I guess, like, how long he helped her train for that Andrade fight, man, like, he didn't really help her that much, in my opinion. Her striking had kind of regressed a little bit. You could hear how mad Joe Rogan was on the commentary. He sounded really disappointed in Mackenzie Dern because he thought, like, everyone obviously has a lot of hopes for her. She has a lot of upside, obviously the marketability. And she has a, really fun fighting style, especially once it hits the ground. Even when it comes to the feet, even if she's getting dropped, she'll still come forward trying to throw an overhand, even if she overextends and gets, dropped herself and stuff like that. Yeah, she's 8-4. She's 8-4 inside the UFC. Now, looking back on the submissions, like most of the submissions were against girls that like didn't really have like that crazy a ground game, like Hannah Cyphers, Randa Marcos, Nina Nunes, Amanda Cooper, like, stuff like that, like she couldn't even, like she got Angela Hill to the ground and, she couldn't submit Hill. So I think that really showed, like, once she's fighting like those more grizzled veterans, like those more experienced girls, she won't be able to submit them that easily. Of course, we saw Zhang Weili was able to get Amanda Lemos to the ground. We saw how that went for her. I do think that Amanda Lemos definitely learned from that. That was her first title fight. I definitely think she went like that. She obviously saw that was a really big hole for her because she already knows she has devastating power in the hand. So she definitely that was a big wake up call for her. She knew she had to work on the wrestling, work on the jiu-jitsu. And I really hope she's done that for sure. If you check her social media, she's looking in good shape right now. Same with Mackenzie. Always in good shape. Mackenzie is. Of course. Just gotta see how Mackenzie looks in this one, man. It's really all a matter of like, did she really learn from that Andrade fight? She took this on short notice, so clearly, like, her confidence has not wavered in the slightest. And she's coming back to fight a striker at that, So clearly, like, she's coming here with no fear. If you want to be the champion, you can't duck any opponents. And speaking of being the champion, this fight could be really big for her. They want to give her a title shot so bad. Like, they've always wanted to put her in the upper echelon of strawweight, and like, just every time she got in that step up, she hasn't been able to get it done. It's a close fight, in my opinion. It's you can really say striker versus grappler. To be quite honest, in my opinion. And man, like, it's a close fight, man. Like however you go, it's a close fight, man. Because like it's like Kim and Kinsey, because she got dropped like 4 times by Andrade. So can she really weather that storm and really like get Amanda in the clinch, try to get her to the ground? We saw that Jessica Andrade was able to get that standing ninja choke. So that might be a vulnerability of hers, but I definitely think that, Andrade, not Andrade, Amanda learned from that, and that was like a 1 in a million submission too, because, Amanda was looking good on the feet until Andrade just got really aggressive and, clinched her up and just choked her out. So, damn, man. Like, I guess, like, when it comes to a fight like this, so I don't keep rambling, I'm really big on, like, full camps and stuff like that. Amanda had a full camp for this fight, I forgot when the notification came out that Mackenzie Dern got it. I think she might have gotten like 5 weeks for this fight, maybe like something like that, maybe like 6 weeks max, 4 weeks at the latest. I mean, at the least,
I think it was
So
like a month ago.
a
Yeah.
month. Okay, all right, bet. So
A month
4 weeks. Bet. So 4
Actually,
weeks.
more than that, because Tatiana Suarez pulled out of the fight like a month
Pulled
and a half
out.
ago.
So it might have been like a 2 month camp. Like, in either way, I know Amanda, even then, good point. She was training with Tatiana Suarez, man. She knew exactly who she was about to fight. We know how crazy of a wrestler that Tatiana Suarez is. So I definitely think the takedown defense is going to be nice and fresh out the oven. I really do believe that, man. I think she's going to, kind of like Leon Edwards when he was training for, Colby Covington and Usman back to back to back. Like training camps that really consist of that much grappling heavy technique. It's only going to help you level up. And, she went from one grappler to another. It's pretty crazy. And that might be the UFC trying to do something. You never know. But yeah, man. I'm going to go with Amanda Lemos in this fight, man. And she had a full camp. I think she'll be able to stuff some of the takedowns. This could be a close fight. This could go to decision. We never know. Amanda Lemos does tend to slow down sometimes, but we just saw her go 5 rounds with Wei Lee. And did
she really go 5 rounds?
She got dominated the 5 rounds. But she had some good moments. She had some good moments.
Am I going 5 rounds? I mean, like, just being in the fight. We saw Carla Esparza get finished, by Zhang Weili. So it was more so her just getting the experience. She had never. She had the main event against Marina Rodriguez and Jessica Andrade, but she had never gone the full distance. Like getting those 25 minutes, and I get it. Y'all are funny for
she
that.
Made history, bro. Strikes after,
again, she went. She was in the cage for 25 minutes. You could say that. And yeah, man, y'all are hilarious. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Amanda Lemos. I don't want to see Dern get knocked out again, bro. I'm gonna go with Amanda Lemos, by a decision. I think she'll just be able to keep it a distance, piece her up on the feet. Stuff the takedowns, avoid the clinch, just use that footwork. And who knows, man? Mackenzie could get it done, man. She definitely could get it done again. She's coming right back after getting knocked out the way she did. So clearly, she thinks she can win this fight. There might be something that that she knows that we don't. And hey, man, we got to see how it goes for her. But I'm gonna go with the Amanda Lemos via decision. Again, I think she'll be able to stuff the takedowns, avoid the clinch, keep at a distance, and strike. We just saw her. Like I said, she was in the cage for 25 minutes with Zhang Weili, and she's trained for main events with Jessica Andrade and Marina Rodriguez. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Amanda Lemos. And yeah, close fight, feature prelim. Shout out to the ladies, and as we roll on to the pay-per-view portion of the card, of course, we've got some great storylines on this pay-per-view. Y'all don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We want to thank the boy Pick'em for popping out with us this afternoon, man. Really appreciate it. Please go subscribe to our boy. He just hit 1,000 subscribers. Let's help him hit that 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And yeah, man, of course, and yeah, man, moving on to our pay-per-view portion of the card, we got Anthony Fluffy Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. You can go first, Pick up. Go ahead, bro.
Now, Anthony Hernandez is basically a middleweight Merab Dawsuli, basically. He's got better jiu-jitsu, obviously more higher finishing ability than Merab Dawsuli. But really good cardio. They both have similar cardio. They can go all day long. The thing about Hernandez is he was getting pieced up his last fight against Edmund Sabajian. I had a couple units on him and I was sweating it because Edmund Sabajian was absolutely piecing him up. So Hernandez couldn't really get the takedowns going early on. The way he wins is he's able to outlast these guys with the cardio. Just has a crazy pace that he puts on these guys, and just people can't really go at the pace that he keeps these guys at. So now he was supposed to fight Ikram Alizkharov, and I was pretty confident that Ikram Alizkharov had the cardio to go all 3 rounds, had the wrestling, had the takedown defense, and had the submission defense, had the striking power. I think, but now that Kopilov's taking this fight in short notice, I don't know how long he's had time to prepare for this fight. Now this is going to be a big step up in competition for Kopylov because who's he really fought? I mean, he hasn't really fought anyone. Josh Fremd. I mean, even though he's making money for me, but he's absolute can't. Alessio De Chirico he took him into 3rd round. Punahele Soriano, absolute can. Claudio Ribeiro. That was a nice head kick though. I mean, but Ribeiro had some good moments at the end of the first round though. So, now Fluffy Hernandez, he submitted Vieira. Like, I doubted Rodolfo Vieira's last fight, but like Vieira almost had him in the submission too, but Hernandez is so dog tough, and like he submitted a Marc-Andre Barrio with the arm triangle. Marc-Andre Barrio is a tough Canadian. But I'm gonna go with Kopylov, man. I'm willing to roll the dice. I'm plus 209, plus 200, whatever he's at right now. Obviously I'm worried about him getting taken down. I know he's got a 92% takedown defense.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really fought anyone that has tried to take him down consistently. Hernandez is gonna shoot at least 10 takedowns on him. Like, he's not gonna stop shooting takedowns on him. And if he gets him to the ground, I mean, Kopylov doesn't really look the best off his back. And he can definitely get tired when you're taking these guys down. These strikers, I mean, they're going to get gassed out when they're trying to get back up to their feet. You're still trying to take them back down. So Hernandez can definitely do that. That's why he's over 2-1 here. But, I mean, Kopylov, like, this is his chance to get into the rankings. If he doesn't do it here, I don't know. But Kopylov, I think he can hurt him to the body. He's got some of the nastiest body kicks out there, beautiful combinations on the feet. We have seen Hernandez get starched with the body kick by Kevin Holland in like 20 seconds. So I'm hoping that happens here. I'm going to take Kopylov by knockout. But definitely I'm not that confident on him because this is a huge step up and he's taking this in short notice. No camp, no training camp. So, but he's been training out of Dagestan for the grappling. So maybe it helps him here. Hernandez, like, he's going to have to do it in the first round and a half. If he doesn't get it done in the first round and a half, I could see Hernandez submitting him later. But I'm willing to roll the dice here on Kopylov plus 200 by knockout.
How you feeling, Nikki? You can go second, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a real big Kopylov fan. Like, when I see him, if like I never watched UFC and I didn't know any of the fighters and the commentators weren't doing what they do, you would think he's like one of those Ian Garys. Like, he has a little something to him. He has like a little star power to him, but they don't give it to him, I feel, because he doesn't maybe he doesn't promote himself as good. I think he's a really good fighter. When I watch him, I've been excited for all of his fights. For this particular fight, I saw that they were supposed to fight at the end of last year. I don't really remember it, but that just goes to show that he did train for him. So he got back into his training camp this time around. Like, it was right back into what they did last time, because it's not like Anthony has fought fights since then. I got Kopylov winning this one. I saw, we always bring on MMA Manny on our podcast. He said a third round submission by Anthony Hernandez, and I really was considering that. That was a really good pick. But I think Kopylov is just going to strike well. He's going to like the body kicks, the punch, like everything. It's just going to do a lot of damage to him. The cardio may be affected by that a little bit. He might get hurt. I got Kopylov winning. I put by knockout. Did I put? Let me see. I got him winning by technical knockout. So probably like a ground and pound or something. Ref gets in there and stops it. I don't think he'll put him out. But
yeah, man. Yeah, I feel you guys. Yeah, again, it's a close fight. In itself, we got Anthony Hernandez coming off the full camp, but I do like Skinny's point of how he did say that Anthony Hernandez, they actually were scheduled to fight before. A lot of people don't know that. I feel like, that's really a big part of this fight. And Roman Kopylov, he's actually has, it's like Pick'em said as well. He has 92% takedown defense, but he hasn't really fought a crazy striker. And I mean, like, crazy wrestler. But at the end of the day, though, he is Russian. He's definitely Russian, so I definitely think it's in their blood to be able to wrestle. Of course, I'm not saying he's going to be like a Khabib-style, Islam-style wrestler, but I do think that he'll definitely be able to wrestle if it hits the ground. I do think he'll be able to scramble, get back to his feet at least. Definitely be able to get back to his feet. Of course, every fight starts on the feet, and I do think Kopylov is the better striker. I think he has the momentum coming into this fight as well. All the finishes that he's had. It's a close fight, man. Like, both these guys got good momentum right now. Like even of course, like Anthony Hernandez coming off that win off Edmund Shabazian, choking out Marc-Andre Barriol. Both these guys have beaten Josh Frim, and he choked out a 5-star jiu-jitsu ace in Rodolfo Vieira. So damn. I mean, hey man, it's a close fight, man. It most definitely is.
I think Vieira was so gassed in that fight too. Vieira almost caught Hernandez in the submission. Just
because he had scrambled out of it. Yes, he did.
Load, yeah.
Yes, he did. Because he had scrambled to his back, and yeah, you're right. Armin guillotine choke. Yes, it was. Yeah, man. I do like the fact that Roman Kopylov has he trained for Anthony Hernandez. He trained for him. I feel like that's a big part of the matchup. And again, the takedown defense, that could be inflated. But like I just said, he is Russian, so I definitely think that he has the ability to scramble, the ability to get back to his feet at least. I don't think it will be a super duper fish out of water once it hits the ground. And Marc-Andre Barriol, he just lost his most recent fight to Chris Curtis. And his wins after losing to Anthony Hernandez were over Julian Marquez and Eric Anders, who was cut. And Julian Marquez, he himself, he's 9-4 and he's 3-3 in the UFC. So he's a 500 fighter inside the UFC. So you can't really, the competition, that is what it is. But I only say that to say that even Anthony's wins might be kind of iffy, because even Edmund Shabazian, we know Edmund, he's had his ups and downs inside the UFC. He's 5-4 now. Before Edmund lost to Anthony Hernandez, he beat Dr. Luke Mbula, but before that, Edmund had lost 3 in a row. So that really shows you that both their wins are kind of iffy. So this really is just that close of a fight. We don't know how it's going to go until they get in there. I'm going to go with the striking momentum of Roman Kopylov. The striking momentum of Roman Kopylov. Like I said, he is a Russian, so I do think he'll be able to get back up to his feet. And I'm not just making an ignorant claim by saying that. It's obviously in their culture to do the sport of wrestling, and I definitely think the gym that he goes to, I feel like they definitely wrestle inside of the gym. He's a really good striker, so you don't really get to see it play out that much because he's finishing these guys before it hits the ground. And yeah, man, I'm really going to go with the momentum of Roman Kopylov. He has been submitted in the 3rd round by Carl Roberson, but it's his only loss via submission. And outside of that, he's finished the rest of, all of his opponents. So I really think that, yeah, man, I think he can get the victory. He's only gone to decision 1 time, so, he's looking like a killer right now, Roman Kopylov is. So, yeah, man, and even then with the Albert Duraev fight, that's when he fought a wrestler, and he lost it by decision, but he was still scrambling, he was still trying to give his way back up to his feet, and I do think Roman Kopylov's a good striker, man, and I think that they'll have a good game plan coming into this matchup. Just stuff the takedowns, keep it at a distance, pick them apart. That's it, So of course it's way harder than what I just said, but we'll see how it goes, y'all. Yeah, it's a good pay-per-view opener though, for sure. Definitely like it. And yeah, man, in every fight from here on out, literally has has the potential to shift the landscape of the UFC. I've been watching some UFC, some YouTube chats that how be watching pick'em streams, and I've been saying I feel like the last 2 pay-per-views of the 200 saga, UFC 200 on. I feel like these last 2 pay-per-views, 298 and 299, can really it has certain matchups that can really change the UFC landscape before we hit the UFC 300s and stuff like that. But even me saying all that, going to this next fight, we have, in my opinion, the second best fight on the card. Extremely high level technical fight. You can go ahead and go first, Nikki. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so we got the Cardio King versus the Cringe King. This is going to be the best press conference of all time, probably. Right. They're just going to go back and forth.
Hell yeah.
But for real, this fight is going to be insane. So the interesting part is they both have such great intel on each other. For one, Henry comes prepared to every fight perfectly. He took years off, came back and went 5 rounds with Aljo, almost beating him. But also, people really aren't stating enough that Merab obviously he comes from the same camp as Aljo, and they just fought Henry. They beat Henry. So it's gonna be interesting. Like they both have the great game plans for each other. We're gonna have like amazing cardio in Marab, and he's just gonna be relentless, versus Henry, who's just like he's technically like perfect, right? He's like almost a perfect fighter. The only thing in the last fight is he wasn't aggressive enough. For me, I'm picking Henry to win by decision because this is a 3-round fight. If this was a 5-round fight, I would definitely think that Marab would win just because he would have it in him to like take that 4th and 5th round, just because like he's the fresh fighter in those rounds. Henry's striking is fucking crazy, dude. His kicks, his punches. This is a good one. But you can't underestimate Marab. That's why I think it's gonna go to decision. I don't see either submitting each other. Henry doesn't really go for submissions like that. So like there's so much to say, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Like I got Henry winning by decision, challenging for the winner of Cheeto versus Sean O'Malley for that title. Also, I don't want to see him retire. So like you gotta speak it into existence that he's gonna win this one.
Right. And you can definitely say your statement if you want, man. You know, we got a little bit of time, so
I mean, bro, like I'm just gonna start blabbing about how good this fight is. Like this is stylistically one of the good, like the best matchups you're gonna see. I don't get how it's the 4th fight on the card, but at the same time, it's just gonna get you pumped up, you know, because it feels like a title fight. You know, it feels like, but it's 3 rounds, which really sucks. But it just feels like these dudes are championship caliber. I mean, obviously Henry held 2 belts and even defended one. But Marab, I mean, there's no like when you look at his resume, like I'll pull it up. When I first started watching the UFC, I was like really like whatever to stuff like this. But when you really look at the resume, bro, like when you see all these W's against like good fighters, Peter Aldo, he beat 2 champions. Like, you can't deny that kind of stuff. Yeah, man, that's all. I'll let you guys get your picks in now.
No, I get it. And yeah, man, it would suck, you know, if you were to lose this fight, you know, and then all that win streak just, you know, go away, you know, especially after, you know, the whole Aljamain situation, you know, as one of his best friends, if not the best friend of Merab Dvalishvili, and they did not want to fight each other, you know, like, you know, I respect that, you know, he didn't want to hurt his friend, you know, literally hurt his friend, you know, and yeah, man, like, I'll go ahead and give my pick next, and Bigum can go last. Yeah, man, for me going in this fight, I was gonna go with Merab Dvalishvili going in this matchup, man. I really like the momentum that he's on right now. It's a hard fight, you know, it's a close fight, you know. Of course, you know, Henry Cejudo, Olympic gold medalist, wrestler in freestyle wrestling. That definitely shows the credentials that he has when it comes to grappling. But I think that it's going to be different in MMA. And we've seen, like, in Henry's recent fights, like, especially in his last fight, that was the most he'd had to wrestle in a pretty long time against Aljamain, man. Like, Aljamain, and Sterling definitely knew that. And that's why he definitely implemented the game plan like that. Trying to wrestle with the wrestler. And he wanted to prove he could take him down. You know, everyone's talking about the gold medal and stuff like that. Like, Aljamain wanted to prove a point. And yeah, man, going into this fight, I just think like Merab, like his forward pressure is really aggressive. He shot for 49 takedowns against Petr Yan, only got 11, but just the fact you have to stuff 49 takedowns is like, it's like pretty insane. You feel me? Yeah, man, it really is the machine. Like no cliche, no joke. Really is a good fighter. I really like his momentum right now, to be quite honest. You know, like he's looked good in all these fights. You know, what he did to Petr Yan, all 5 rounds, like showing him no fear of the striking, coming forward and just blasting him, and even striking with Petr Yan too, you know. So I do think he'll be able to strike with Henry. I do think you could say Henry's the better boxer in this fight. We know he likes to come out with that karate stance sometimes. You know, it's really cool to see him use that. And yeah, man, like Henry Cejudo, one of the greatest fighters we've ever seen. It's just, you know, he's coming back. You know, he's 37 years old now. And when you taste that glory, you tasted it the way, especially the way Henry has. He's literally done it all and seen it all to the full. Like if you play UFC 5, he literally did it all. Like he became the double champion and retired, and like he beat the game, defended both belts, and seriously. So I think it's kind of hard to really regather that inspiration, that hunger, to be that killer, when you're really fighting these dudes from across the planet, you have to be so like just invigorated when you wake up in the morning to really get out there and fight these dudes. And if I think who was going harder in the training room, it's definitely Merab Dvalishvili, a guy who hasn't tasted that belt before, who saw his best friend have the belt and know they were training together that whole time, and knowing that he can be on Aljamain's level too and stuff like that. I really do think that that's going to play a big factor in this. And I think, again, that too. His best friend beat his opponent. So I think that Aljamain Sterling's going to definitely give him a good game plan for this fight. If you check the embedded, he's been training with some people down at Syndicate. So you haven't really seen too much of Sterling, but I know they're definitely texting. He's definitely going to call him like the day of the fight just to give him a little bit of insight. Or Merab's definitely going to call Aljamain to ask him for some advice before the fight that night. And I really think that, even that alone is going to play dividends in the fight. I'm going to go with Merab Dvalishvili. Henry's one of the greatest fighters ever, so I'm going to go with Merab via decision. I just think it's going to be the wrestling for the most part. It's going to be a competitive fight. They're going to go back and forth, but I think it's the chain wrestling of Merab. It's just going to be a lot for Henry to just come back and deal with, at 37 years old. Like, I know he was ring rusted against Aljamain, and that was 3 years he was out of the octagon. But I just think, like, with how much Merab's going to make him wrestle, oh, yeah, man, like, most definitely. Like, it's definitely going to be an issue. And, yeah, man, and also Merab has a good chin, too. We saw him weather that storm against Marlon Moraes. He showed his heart in that fight. Of course, that's pretty bad sign, too, because he can be hurt. But again, like I said, he was able to come back. He knew how much he wanted to win that fight, keep his win streak, and he went on to finish Marlon Moraes, and that was a crazy, crazy fight. Beautiful fight. And yeah, Bickham, you can go ahead, bro.
I mean, you guys pretty much said everything that needs to be said. I mean, Merab, I think he's just more hungry right now. Cejudo's already a double champion, Olympic champion. He still got taken down 4 times by Aljo, but Aljo's moving up to 145 now, so Aljo's a pretty big body in there. Cejudo, man, he's 37 now, right? 36 or 37 now, so obviously pretty old for bantamweight, and he wasn't all that big for bantamweight in the past either. He's pretty explosive though. He's obviously going to be a more technical striker, but I don't think Merab Dvalishvili is going to give him the space and the time to set everything up. I think he's just going to keep a pace on him that Cejudo is just not going to be able to keep up with. He's just going to be, his memories, his sensory is going to be overwhelmed. And I think he's going to do pretty much what he did against Peter Yan. I mean, I think Peter Yan would beat up Cejudo, to be honest, right now. Like, I think Peter Yan's a better fighter right now than Cejudo. But Cejudo looked a little bit rusty at his last fight because he took off like 3 years off. So I expect him to look a little bit better here. I think he's going to look a lot better than he did against Aljo. I still don't think it's going to be enough. I think Merab's going to win 30-27 maybe. I think it'll be 30-27. I don't think Cejudo's winning even one round in this one. Cejudo, he's gonna have to like defend all the takedowns, and there's like 50 takedowns behind those 5 first takedowns. So Dvalishvili did never stop shooting takedowns against Aldo. He didn't even get one single takedown against Aldo. That was like I was so pissed off because it's horrible to see Aldo look like that out there. Just defending takedowns the whole time, up against the fence. I think Merab's going to do the same thing he did to Aldo here. And I think Cejudo's he's not going to have the speed advantage anymore that he used to have. Obviously, more technical strikers. He can definitely land a flying knee or something that he did against Dominic Cruz. So he can definitely throw a flying knee and catch Merab coming in for the double leg takedown. But I think Dvalishvili just going to eat it. He's got a solid chin on him. I mean, he dove headfirst into a lake, so if I think he's got a solid chin. I don't think he's gonna get. I think Dvalishvili decision. I like the fight goes the distance. Dvalishvili decision is not even plus money; it's minus 125. So money line is what I like here, and I'm betting Merab Dvalishvili here. Yeah, I'm looking at juice on it.
Bet, man. Definitely sounds good, yo. We're going to see how it goes for the former champion, the former flyweight, the former bantamweight champion, man. I really hope that, he doesn't retire. That would suck. I know what he said at the media day, it's 100% over if he loses, but
I don't receive anything he says. I don't really think
I get it. I get it. No, I can see why you would say that. You know,
yeah, but like, who's he gonna fight? Like, they're gonna give him like a Rob Font or something weird. Like, why he's too good to be? Because like those types of people he's beating. Like,
they give him Umar. They give him Umar. That's who I think.
And you think he wants to fight Umar? Like, come on, just like I get these dudes are good. No one wants to fight Umar, bro, because he's just gonna take your spot if he out grapples you, bro. And like, you don't want to lose your spot because you got out grappled like that.
Umar is fighting the newcomer now, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He's fighting
they signed someone to fight him.
Yeah, yes, he is. Yeah. It's crazy because he can't get a ranked opponent. And I said Umar, so you know, like, yeah, he would beat the dude he's about to fight. And I'm saying while Henry's in the interim taking that time off, I think you'd be chilling at home one day, and that's the fight you would see them make. Because you know what you gonna do, duck.
Yeah, you can't. Especially if he goes on a 2-fight losing streak, he has no option to duck.
No leverage whatsoever.
The only dude that wants to fight him is probably Murad, bro. Murad would love to fight Umar. Like,
right? Yeah, I agree. You're funny. No, you're hilarious, bro. But yeah, moving on, man. To one of the most interesting fights on the card, in my opinion. Of course, man. I cannot wait for this press conference, man. This Ian Gary to pop out, just defend himself, man. All the controversy, all the things on social media, everything that's been said, you know, about across all, you know, a lot of people got a lot of subscribers. I'm making videos about Ian Gary, man. Seriously, a lot of people are eating off his name, and like, you know, it's crazy, man. Like, that really became a big media storm. You know, that many people that were coming into MMA, that were new fans. We're getting, like, you know, that was their first impression of Ian Gary, you know, starting from the Jeff Neal mugshot, it might have been. And even then, like, you know, people can feel how they feel about that, of course. Like, they're fighters. They're going to talk trash. Like, I get it. People didn't like the mugshot stuff, you know, because Jeff Neal got that DUI. You know, he made the unfortunate decision. You know, they had, you know, of course, drug drunk one night. It's unfortunate, you know. Shout out to Jeff Neal. You know, it's, you know, innocent mistake. You know, I just pray that doesn't happen to Jeff Neal again, you know. And that's it. You know, I love for all UFC fighters to be in a positive light. You feel me? And yeah, man. So going into this fight, like, you can go first, pick him. Go ahead, man. I want to hear what you got to say, bro.
I mean, Jeff Neal's got some of the nastiest power at 170. He's got really good boxing. I mean, he doesn't really throw a lot of kicks out there. He'll throw a head kick here and there. The mistake that Shavkat made, I mean, I wouldn't really call it a mistake because he still submitted him in the third round, but he was hanging too much in the pocket. I don't think Gary's going to hang too much in the pocket against a boxer like Jeff Neal. Now, Shavkat was like going throwing one twos right down the pipe and catching Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal doesn't really move his head. He's got the high guard up. Now he's got a solid chin on him, so I don't think he's going to get finished here. But I think Gary's going to get it done. I know people don't really like Gary. They're all Gary haters, but he's a good fighter. Obviously, we've seen a chin get cracked before. He's been knocked down before, but he still showed that he can still recover. He's not going to just give up like Mike Malott out there when things get tough. I think Gary's going to get this done. Likely decision. I actually liked over 2.5 rounds here. I think we're going to go over 2.5 rounds. I would do the over 1.5 just to be safe. But Jeff Neal can definitely win this fight, man. If he just gets him up against the fence and lands one of those bombs, left hooks right in the chin, drops Gary. Because I don't think he's gonna let Gary cover like Kenan Song did if he catches him. But I just don't think Gary's gonna be dumb like that and hang in the pocket for too long. I think Gary's gonna be chipping away with the leg kicks, with the body kicks. And we have seen guys like Gary beat up Jeff Neal before, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Neil Magny. Now, Magny doesn't really have much power. I think Gary's going to have stinging him with the jabs over and over. He's going to double up on the jab. And Gary's got good cardio. He doesn't take a lot of risk out there. He's not trying to – if he can get a finish, he'll get a finish. If he can't get a finish, he's not going to put himself at risk to lose the fight, to go chase the finish. So I think Gary decision. But I already bet the over 2.5 round just to be safe because it's even money. I mean, so I like the fight goes the distance. I think Gary gets it done. And just in case Jeff Neal maybe drops him a couple of times, wins a decision or something, I like the over 2.5. And I like Gary to win by decision here. I think he's going to get it done.
Yeah, I feel you. How you feeling, Nikki?
So I'm excited about this fight because obviously if you watch the Embeddeds, you would know that Ian Gary is training with Charles Oliveira. So what's interesting about that is not that he's just training with a former champion. It's that their body sizes are so similar and their fighting styles are like so close to each other. Like obviously Charles will engage in way more grappling and jiu-jitsu purposely. But Ian Gary will engage in more kickboxing and some more range distance. But that's exactly how Charles strikes. He keeps his distance from you, and he uses his legs and his kicks. Like he doesn't get like right up close to you, throw his elbows. Like he manages his distance well, and he's just gonna only improve Ian Gary's distance. See, I called Antoine last night. We were talking. I said I was going to watch the Shavkat fight one last time with Jeff Neal before I made my decision, and I didn't. I forgot why, but I just never got around to it. Mm-hmm. So that might sway any option I had of picking Gary. But like, I really did not think Shavkat was going to like finish him, and he just I almost feel like this sounds very ignorant, but I almost feel like that submission was like lucky, like he just put it together and it just happened right there. Mm-hmm. Obviously it's a skill, but it just felt lucky. With Ian Gary, it's going to decision. I don't think he's not gonna get like, it's gonna be the same fight that bloody fucking just like crazy striking fight. Obviously a little more distance, I think, because Ian Gary he's great kicks. Like if you've seen that Neil Magny fight, he has such good kicks. I got to go into decision though for Gary. I think it's gonna be a split decision. Ian Gary's gonna take this fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bet. Yeah, it's another clean sweep on the card, y'all. I got the future, man. Yeah, I mean, I really think just all the controversy, I really skewed people's perception of his skill set. I think he has great footwork. He's great with the distance management. Everyone talks about how I get it because he got dropped by Jordan Williams in Sankanon. At the end of both those fights, those dudes were sleeping. So I mean, like that's just that. I get it. Like these dudes are gonna go through adversity, and we can't. For lack of a better term, like shit on them for that. We can't. Like we have to get the fighters a chance to come back in the fight. Because if they were coming out here just murdering the fighters like that, they'd be like, oh, they fought no one. So it's good to be like that. They weathered the storms, fought through adversity, and still came out with the victory. It shows that like it doesn't matter if the fight is easy or hard. They're gonna try to win the fight regardless. Because some dudes shell up at the nearest, like at the closest even thing, to what Ian was going through, and again, like I think Ian is really good with the distance management. Like Nikki said, I think he can really keep the striking distance, kind of like Wonder Boy did, and just really stay out the pocket. I think he will get hit. He might get dropped one time. I think that one drop's gonna crack him. It's gonna like show some blood. It's gonna be like, and he's gonna have to really recuperate from that. But I think he could do it, man. I think he can really keep it at the distance the whole fight, stay out the way of the power, and just counter strike really good for all 15 minutes. He can, he's really good striking off the back foot too. Better than most fighters, you could definitely say. And yeah, man, we saw like even after the fights where he was getting dropped like that, he came back and had some great performances. Like when he knocked down Daniel Rodriguez with that head kick, a lot of people didn't see that coming, and even then he went on to dominate Neil Magny after that. And I know a lot of people wanted him to get the finish, but there's also a side of like dominating someone over 15 minutes. Like really showing like really that they're nowhere near your skill set. Like, oh man, like of course Neil Magny's taking his fair share of losses, but we just saw Neil Magny take out, like how Pick'em said, just take out at the time a good prospect in Mike Milan. He's still a good prospect. And Gary dominated that dude that Mike Milan got finished by. So that shows you that I do think that was a good win from Ian Gary, especially to win in that fashion. I definitely think that was the case. You feel me? And yeah, man, I was gonna go Ian Gary via decision. I do think he can get the knockout though. If he does get the knockout, like it would just be so cool, man. Like I get it, y'all. Like if you dish it out, you gotta take it. But I don't know. It would be kind of poetic. I mean, it's gonna be poetic on either side. Either he's gonna get a beautiful knockout, and everyone that was talking trash, about the wife situation and stuff like that, they're gonna be like, oh man, no, Ian's good, man. Ian's nice. Or Jeff Neal's gonna knock him the fuck out for that, for that mugshot stuff, and like that's it. So it's gonna, either way, that's why the fight is so interesting, like how we all said. And yeah, man, I can't wait for it. I'm gonna go Ian Gary by unanimous decision to win this fight.
Is Neal gonna make weight? I'm not sure if he's gonna make weight, to be honest, because he missed weight against Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Yes, he did. So, like, I know he was coming off a surgery. It was like an arm surgery or something like that. before that fight, I believe. So it was kind of like an injury he was dealing with, and it really was detrimental to his training camp. It really hampered his training. Because if you look on the shot clock thing, it says like undisclosed injury, but it does say Neil withdrew. So that really just shows you that, yeah, man, like, fighting is hard. Fighting is extremely hard.
And I had him by third round submission there, and I should have bet it because I knew he was gonna slow down a bit in third round. I just didn't bet it third round. Just should have bet it.
No, yeah, that was crazy. I went to UFC 285. It was pretty crazy to see all of the Shavkat fans like rise up out their seats, like, when the submission came, because the whole 18 fights, 18 finishes, stuff like that. The people wanted to see if he could keep it going. And yeah, man, this was a good. I mean, hey, we saw how Jeff Neal was in this fight, even after missing weight. Of course, I mean, like, people say, whatever they want about missing weight. Some people think, it's an advantage because you don't have to cut that much weight. Versus, like, some people think cutting weight is an advantage because that means, like, you're in the best shape after you've cut a lot of weight. And that means you had a really good training camp. That means you're in shape and stuff like that. And sometimes missing weight means you're out of shape. You had a bad training camp, of course. But, of course, like how I said, though, Neil had, like, an arm problem, like an injury. And, yeah, of course, hopefully he makes weight, on Friday. We'll see. Gonna be watching that live weigh-in show for sure. But yeah, moving on to the co-main event of the evening. We got two middleweights, two big fellas, you feel me? We're gonna see how it goes, man. We're gonna see how it goes. This is a real interesting fight, in my opinion. And I've seen a lot of people online, picking different opinions and stuff like that, surprisingly so. So can't wait to see who y'all are picking, but you can go ahead and go first. Pick them. Go ahead.
Whitaker's coming off that loss to Duplessis. I mean, I don't know. He kind of looked off on that one. Maybe he wasn't training all that hard. He said he came out and said he wasn't training all that hard, that he wasn't really taking Duplessis serious. And I picked Duplessis there. It was kind of fluky. I didn't think Duplessis was actually going to win in my right mind. Duplessis went out there, knocked him out. But he looks pretty serious about this fight now. I don't think he wants to lose to Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa hasn't fought in 3 years? When was the last time he fought? Rockhold? He fought Rockhold like a year and a half.
278.
278. Yeah, he just couldn't go out there and finish Rockhold, man. I lost some money on him betting him by knockout. I don't know, a lot of people did too. Just couldn't. I had him by round 2 KO, round 1 KO, round 3 KO. Like, I had everything, and it just couldn't finish him. It got taken down by Rockhold, controlled on the ground by Rockhold. Right. Rockhold is a pretty good grappler. I mean, he was a former champion, so I guess you can't really fault him too much. But Rockhold has no chin. Rockhold is one of the chiniest guys I've middleweight, like, ever, I think. So Whitaker, obviously, he's got chin issues too. He's been dropped with jabs. He's been dropped by Wonder Boy. He's been dropped by Izzy twice. He got dropped in the first round, in the second rematch too, with a jab. So Paulo Costa can definitely go out there and knock out Whitaker. I can definitely see that. I don't think the odds would be this heavily towards favoring Whitaker. So, because Paulo Costa is a big dude, man. For the weight class, this dude is big out there. But I don't think he has the technique, the speed, and the fight IQ to get the punches there. I don't think he can get it there. If you can't land clean on Marvin Vettori, he was landing good body kicks in Marvin Vettori, and he missed weight there too. So I don't even know if he's going to make weight tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of guys missing weight. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. But I think Paulo Costa, if anyone misses weight, probably going to be Paulo Costa. And I think Paulo Costa probably misses weight more than Jeff Neal, to be honest. But Costa, like, obviously, he's got slick jiu-jitsu too. The cardio is a problem a little bit. He will slow down after the first 2 rounds. But against Marvin Vettori, he kind of looked okay out there. I mean, Marvin Vettori just piecing him up with a jab and the right hook. But Paulo Costa was landing some good body kicks. I could definitely see him landing a body kick and hurting Robert Whitaker. But I think Whitaker is like in phenomenal shape for this fight. And I've seen I've liked what I've seen from his Instagram right now. He's been posting. He looks fit for some of the best shape that he's ever came in. So I think Whitaker likely gets it done. Probably going to get cracked a couple of times because he always gets cracked every fight almost. So I could see Paulo Costa winning the first round, then Whitaker just piecing him up in the second and third round. But I'm not as confident as other people on Whitaker. But I think Whitaker should be able to get it done. He's very more technical, high fight IQ. His chin is a problem, though. It's always been a problem for him. And I don't know. I think Whitaker should be able to get it done, but Paulo Costa can definitely win this fight too by knockout. So I'm not ruling out Paulo Costa because I know we like to clown this guy because he hasn't fought in forever. He's a pull out merchant. So, but I honestly think Whitaker should be able to get this done, but I don't think the odds should be this wide.
Nah, I get it. Yeah, you can go ahead and give your pick, Nikki.
I agree with a lot of what you said. I definitely think Whitaker is going to get cracked. When that does happen, because it's like no doubt he's going to get hurt from all those punches. Paulo, like, he gets you against the cage and those body punches, it's gonna change the fight a lot. You got to remember, a body punch is what made Whitaker fall from Dricus. And then the head punches just finished that fight. I picked Dricus in his last 2 fights, and Costa is a very, very similar fighter, honestly. If you could compare anyone to Dricus, it would probably be Costa out of like because he's so awkward and Costa fights like very paced, like he's very like slow and like lines up his punches very hard. I'm taking Costa in this fight. I think he'll knock him out in the first or second round. So I would say under 1.5.
Okay, yeah, man. That's another one. Yeah, I like this pay-per-view, man. It's always good when when you got this stretch of competitive fights like this, with this differentiating results, Yeah, man, I'm gonna go with Robert Whitaker in this matchup. I'm gonna go with the former UFC middleweight champion. I think he's really gonna just have a bounce back performance in this matchup, man. I think he even said it during like that Sydney press conference, like, Dricus was a dude that was extremely hungry. And you got to match that. Like, he didn't match his intensity at all in the fight. Like, like how Pick'em said, he definitely underestimated him. We saw how Dricus du Plessis looked in those performances against Derek Brunson, against Darren Till. He was gassing out, looking tired. The Brad Tavares fight. He looked pretty good in the Brad fight, but he was still kind of slowing down even in the Brad fight. So, yeah, man, it's just when it comes to this fight, I think that Robert's really gonna just really want to have a bounce back performance. Man, he's always had some chin issues, always. Like, it's always been a thing. It's just he's really just maintained really good defense. He has good distance management. And yeah, man, like he likes to throw that oblique kick. Like that kick that John Jones will use to really mess up the knee. And it's also good with keeping the distance as well, so he can actually like keep them at bay. And so like do his in and out jab and his blitz, like how Sean Strickland talked about. Really, really good with the blitz. Blitz is really useful, especially when he even might shoot for a takedown, because you think he's going in for a jab, but it can be a blast double leg. And that's another thing. Robert can wrestle as well. He doesn't when he hasn't in his most recent fights, but he most definitely can. We saw him use it at UFC 271, where some people thought he beat Israel Adesanya. So I definitely don't think he had really missed a step, coming into the Dricus fight. I think that was the future UFC middleweight champion we saw on the way. And yeah, man, I think Robert just didn't match the intensity. When it comes to Costa, he has a lot of power. He has a black belt. Bless you. He has a black belt. Of course, you're fine. He has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Of course, he got it from his brother. So people try to say anything about that they will. Obviously, he's still a black belt though. He's still a good grappler. Has decent power in the hands. He's not really one-shot dude. It's more so an accumulation of damage. Like, every single punch has a lot of power in it. He has really good hooks, really, really good hooks to the body in particular. And yeah, man, it's just so slow down sometimes. Like, we see how much weight that he does cut to middleweight. He's 6'1", so he can't go up to 205. He'd be a little bit too undersized for 205 nowadays. So I think middleweight is his division. And it's just the weight cut hurts him every time, and you can definitely see when he makes it on the scale without drawing in his faces. And yeah, man, I think just coming into this fight, that was a massive wake-up call for Robert Whitaker. That definitely showed him he was doing something wrong in the training camp, that he might have been a little bit, a little lackadaisical in his training sessions, just going through the motions, stuff like that, or going back to work, I'm gonna beat a dude. I beat so many dudes already, and
he's playing too many video games.
yeah, yeah, that's it.
They're just playing video games. Man.
Yeah,
too much Skyrim.
Yeah, that too. I agree. I forgot. Shout out to Skyrim. I love Skyrim. Yeah, man. I'm gonna go Whitaker in this fight by unanimous decision, man. I think he can play it safe at a distance. There's a lot of footage out on Robert Whitaker. I mean, a lot of footage out on Robert Whitaker. There is, but there's a lot of footage out on Costa in terms of the UFC middleweight division. He saw, the fight against Luke Rockholtz. That was his most recent outing. Didn't really look the best. Of course, he's coming off that staph infection. We know he was supposed to fight Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 294, but he had to pull out with that staph infection in his elbow. So we got to see how he's coming back from that as well with his training sessions, how that might maybe affect his cardio. He's had a little bit of a layoff as well. We know Whitaker has been active.
I think he could have beat Khamzat Chimaev, to be honest. I mean, Khamzat just has no gas tank.
Especially Khamzat breaking his hand in that fight.
I think Paulo Costa could have got like a knockout stoppage or something. I mean, it's probably crazy that I'm saying it, but Khamzat Chimaev he just looks like a different fighter after the first 5 minutes.
No, I agree. Like it's that adversity he's not used to. Like how I said, Ian, it's good that he's faced it and now he's knocking dudes out, And with Khamzat, again, I mean, obviously Khamzat's facing the upper echelon. I mean, he fought Usman. Even with the Gilbert Burns fight, Gilbert was ranked number 2 at the time. And Gilbert, of course, I was giving him problems. Gilbert was still a good fighter. He was coming off the victory over Wonder Boy. So yeah, Gilbert's still a good fighter himself. And yeah, man. And even then, when it comes to Costa, fighters can look different in every single fight. This is the biggest step up for him since fighting Israel Adesanya, and that's another thing. Like I feel like he really needed that fight that would get him up out of bed. You're fighting Robert Whitaker. These guys have obviously been booked before. They both have history with Israel. So that really just shows you that yeah, man. Like I think he can really just come back and get a bounce back performance, man. And these guys, they've always known about each other, so I'm pretty sure they've done a lot of tape study on each other, even when they weren't in camp. And yeah, man, I just hope that Paulo makes it this time. I really, really hope the fight actually makes it to the cage. I want to see it play out, And I do think this is big for Costa. He's not fighting some 37-year-old Luke Rockhold. He's fighting a 33-year-old in his prime. You can still kind of say Robert Whitaker, and he's trying to get that number 3 rank off him. And you can get a title shot, man. It's a new champion. Israel's not up there anymore, and who knows how Duplessis versus Costa looks, So that's my pick, man. I got Robert Whitaker via unanimous decision. I think he's had a fire lit under him from that knockout loss. Getting decimated the way he did when Rodriguez got the judo throw and he dropped Whitaker and then he got the ground and pound. It was just a lot, So I think while he rewatched that, knowing Robert, he's extremely competitive. You can see in his face, especially when he does the little chest tap when he walks into the cage. So yeah, man. I'm gonna go with Whitaker by a unanimous decision, bro. Most definitely. And with that, we roll on to the last fight of the day. Want to thank y'all again for joining us, for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, thank you, Pick'em, for popping out, bro. I really appreciate your time, man. It's awesome doing this. And again, guys, go subscribe to his content. He's super consistent, super active. And good content as well. So
appreciate that, bro.
With that, of course, hell yeah, fuck yeah. With that, we have, in my opinion, what on paper could be one of the greatest featherweight title fights, one of the greatest featherweight championships we've ever seen inside the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Pick'em, you're a special guest, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you give your pick first. And who do you think will walk out UFC 298 as the featherweight king?
Now, I've been going back and forth on this one. I'm sure a lot of people have, because this is it's probably going to be a close fight. But if anyone can make it not a close fight, probably Volkanovski, because no one's really had a close fight with Volkanovski in a long time, other than Max Holloway in the second fight, or Chad Mendes way early on. But Topuria, man, very well-rounded fighter, black belt on the ground, got some of the best jiu-jitsu out there. I don't think his wrestling is as good as Makhachev, though. I think Volkanovski is going to be strong enough to keep the fight on the feet or go for his own takedowns on Topuria. Topuria, good power on the feet, really good boxing, has clean boxing, really good footwork. It's a really good movement too. He's going to be much younger here. So he's probably going to be faster here too. Is Volkanovski going to fight him in the pocket? I'm not too sure. The way he's been talking about it, Volkanovski's been talking about how he's not going to be a punching bag out there. He's going to stay on the outside, kick the legs, and when you kick the legs of a boxer, they don't really have much sting left on that right hand or the left hook. So the early rounds are going to be tricky, but I'm gonna go with the Volkanovski here because I think he's obviously fought the better level of competition. I mean, it's not even close. Ilia Topuria fought Josh Emmett and he couldn't finish him, even though Josh Emmett is kind of dangerous. I think it was a 50-42 scorecards. So he absolutely dominated Josh Emmett, but he got taken down by Bryce Mitchell in the first round. Couldn't really get back up to his feet. So if Bryce Mitchell can take you down and hold you down, I think Volkanovski, with the experience, the two fights that he had with Islam Makhachev, he took the second one on short notice. Obviously, showed that he was timing and everything wasn't on point. Got head kicked out there, so that's a pretty brutal knockout. So obviously that worries me, but for Volkanovski here, because that was a brutal head kick knockout, and the hammer fist were nasty from Makhachev. But him on a full camp ban, he looks in phenomenal shape right now for this fight. He's got those abs and he looks ready to go. And I think Topuria talk and everything that he's been talking about has lit a fire under his. So I think Volkanovski is gonna get this done. Obviously, he might get dropped. We've seen Volkanovski get dropped before by Max Holloway. I think Max Holloway dropped him. I think Chad Mendes dropped him too. We have seen him get dropped before, and he just got head kick knocked out. But he's been head kick knocked out before too at welterweight outside the UFC. So it's not like he's known he knows what it feels like to get knocked out before. So he's got experience. So Topuria, I feel like Volkanovski is gonna get this done. I don't think he's gonna finish Topuria. I think it's gonna be a decision. Likely 49-46 Volkanovski. But if anyone can beat Volkanovski at 145, it's definitely Topuria. Definitely not sleeping on him here. And I think Volkanovski gets it done. I think he can get some takedowns in Topuria too, and stay safe on the ground, control him on the ground, win rounds, coming in with much more experience. So I'm gonna go with the still champion Alexander Volkanovski to defend his belt here against Topuria. Go ahead.
Yeah. Beautiful breakdown, man. Beautiful breakdown as always. You go ahead, Nikki. Go ahead.
Yeah, like the longer you linger thinking about this fight, the easier it is to go back and forth. It's like, it's hard, man. Like then you hear those things about the Conor, and it's like it does seem similar. And no one's calling him Conor McGregor, but everything's lined up. It's similar. He's young, he's fast, he's strong. This dude is strong. He's not. You made a great pick him, or a great take pick him when you said that he's not Makhachev. He's not gonna pose the same threat as a takedown, and that's what got Volk knocked out. That's what lost him the fight. Is the whole fight he's so worried about being taken down. It's taking away from what Volk can really do. So when you put those lightweight fights to the side, and you just obviously got knocked out. People say, oh, he got knocked out, now he's prone to it. It's not like you got a slash on your face, and if it gets punched again, that's not what it means. Like when you're chinny, it just means you got knocked out in the past. It can happen again. But all these dudes could get knocked out. I mean, Ilya could get knocked out, and he's never been knocked out. With this fight, though, it's like in my head, I'm thinking Volk's gonna do what Volk did against Yair, and it's just like. But then when you keep thinking about it, it's hard. I have Volk winning by a decision. I don't think Volk will finish him. I think Topuria is really good. I was doubting him a lot, but the longer you think about it, you got to give him his credit. You've seen what he did to Josh Emmett. It's and Josh Emmett's a good comparison to Volk. He's just like he's like mini me of Volk, obviously not in size, but yeah, they're really similar. I think Volk though is gonna I think he will try and walk down Ilya as much as he can so that he can't get cornered. It's either you walk someone down or you get walked down. They're not going to stand on 75 and 75% of the cage and just look at each other. Someone's going to walk each other down. Volk has never been the one to back down, bro. I got Volk in this fight by decision. I hope he wins. I do not want to see Volk lose. That would be so bad for his mental if he lost 2 title fights in a row. That's what I got, man.
Yeah, man. Like for me, like the biggest thing going into this fight, I really feel that like if that knockout never happens, like if he's just coming off the win over Yair Rodriguez at UFC 290, I don't think this fight like is that close on the betting odds. I think if he's coming off like if he has that close fight at UFC 284 and then he wins at 290 coming back down and he just chills out from 290 to 298 and then this was his next fight, I don't think anyone like would be like second guessing his capabilities in this fight. He was in the cage for like a minute versus Islam. I get it, like it was a knockout, but like it wasn't like it was a 5-round ass whooping where he just got like decimated over like he really took a bunch of damage at like all at one fight like that. It was it was a quick knockout. Even when it happened, he was still coherent. He was still conscious. He got right up, and then he did the hand clap stuff, for the ceremony and stuff like that, for the belt wrapping and all that. So he wasn't even out close when that happened. I feel like, and I get it, like that's in everyone's mind. That's probably in his mind, and himself, But at the end of the day, I trust that he just knows himself. I trust that he knows himself. He had a camp for this one, an actual camp, so he can actually be in shape, be at the fullness of his capabilities. And like all of a sudden, Volkanovski's just easy to hit. He's never been easy to hit ever. Like literally ever, like never been easy to hit. The most, he had like the Chad Mendes fight, but outside of that, he's been relatively difficult to track down in the cage. No one's ever really had a striking masterclass, even close to it against Volkanovski. And it's he's still really fast. He has good in and out movement. He has great leg kicks, good jab. He has a good two hands. Whether either stance he's in, whether he's going in and out with that right hook or in and out with that left hook, he's really good and he hits hard with both hands. And I think that with Ilya's boxing style, him being on that forward foot a lot is going to pay dividends for Volkanovski. I think he could chop that leg all nice, stay on the outside. Just avoid the big strike. And Ilya has some of the best body hooks I've ever seen inside the UFC. So that's definitely going to be a big factor in the fight for Ilya. If every time Volkanovski comes in, he can just time the counter, boom. And we saw Ilya adjust round by round by round on Josh Emmett. That's going to be a really big factor for this fight as well. How good is he at adjusting? It's just the biggest thing for me is that this is a massive step up in competition for Ilya Topuria. To go from fighting his Bryce Mitchell to Josh Emmett, those are your only ranked opponents, to fighting the champion himself. You got to realize, it's not like you had to go through the adversity in a Yair fight, in a 5-rounder. And now we saw he can take massive damage. He can he can crazy. Of course, he has crazy grappling, but it's not like we saw him go through that much adversity. Of course, he's looked good. That's why he hasn't gone through that much adversity. But a part of that is the competition he's faced as well, undoubtedly so. So, man, going into this matchup, I think it's a matter of competition. This dude's fought Max Holloway 3 times, Korean Zombie, Brian Ortega, Islam Makhachev twice. He's fought so many people. And I really feel that way. I feel like if that second Islam fight doesn't happen and he's coming off the, destroying Yair like that, the betting odds won't be this close. I really feel that way, Not saying that it still won't be a close fight. I think Volkanovski be minus 190, minus 200, maybe a minus 250. Coming off that Yair win, if he was coming off a head kick knockout in the first round, or he's taking some damage from that, obviously. I don't think the odds would be this close. Not showing disrespect to Topuria. Betting odds mean nothing in a fight. We just saw Jack Hermanson go in there and jab up Joe Pyfer, for 3 rounds. And Joe Pyfer was a minus 270 favorite against Jack Hermanson. So betting odds mean nothing. But I just think that when it comes to the competition that Topuria's faced, it's nothing close to the level of Volkanovski, who he himself and who he's been in there with. So, man, I'm gonna go with Volkanovski by unanimous decision. I think it's gonna be a decision. I think he's gonna try to just humble him, show him some stuff he's never seen before. I do think Volk might get dropped at one point, Topuria's a really good boxer. He's really good with the distance management. Dude's coming in and out like that. I think he will be able to time a hook. Volkanovski, once he goes out, he's going to have to come back in. So all Topuria has to do is just time that. But that's easier said than done on someone that has that good of lateral movement. And because he's also good at moving side to side as well. So, yeah, man. And after the leg is going to be a big factor. He's going to chop that leg all night. As you chop that leg, it nullifies the power. He can't just sit down on that front leg and throw that left straight and then right down the pipe anymore and, things of that nature. So I'm going to go with Volkanovski by unanimous decision. And yeah,
did you guys hear Topuria say that if he wins the belt, he's not going to be fighting Yair and these guys.
He's already making the call.
Connor and Sean O'Malley.
Facts. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna see how that goes. We're gonna see, because I think he's made bantamweight before, so I guess he could try to go.
I think Sean O'Malley's gonna move up.
Sean O'Malley's double champ. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Especially if Sean wins this first fight. I mean, he's still got to fight the winner of Merab and Cejudo, but you know that the UFC works.
I can see the UFC doing a matchup here.
We gotta see,
especially if Sean flatlines. If Sean flatlined Cheeto, and
I have a hard time seeing
and
that,
Ilya was ready, man, 300. 300.
Cheeto just never gets cut or anything. Like, you ever see Cheeto cut? I've never seen him cut in the UFC ever. He's never gets bruised up. I don't know what his skin is made out of. Cheeto's just a different freaking animal.
Seriously, for real. Yeah, man. He has an ironclad skin. It's pretty crazy. We saw what he did to Rob Font. That was pretty ridiculous. And yeah, I was gonna say the last thing I'll say on it. I feel like at that point they would decide between who has more star power, Ilya Topuria or Sean O'Malley. Whoever gets that double champ opportunity off rip becomes the A side of that fight. Of course, it'll be a big fight for both of them. They'll both reap off each other's presence and their fans and stuff like that. But whoever walks out, whoever has the opportunity to become double champ, make the history, that's who they really see the potential in. Ilya saying he wants to go to Spain and fight in that Coliseum and in front of all those people, which yeah, that'd be wild. And I do think he could sell it out. Yeah, Sergio Ramos.
Have they ever done an outdoor event before?
I don't think so. Outdoor, UFC 242 technically it was outdoors because that was the Abu Dhabi card. That's when Dustin Poirier fought Khabib, and that was outside. That was they had the lights and stuff that was really cool.
No crowds there though. Barely anyone there watching.
Yeah. Facts. Yeah, you're right.
That was a horrible time to watch the UFC. I can't believe they're still in the Apex. I really hope they move out of the Apex sometime.
I actually heard that they I forgot who was saying, but it was Ariel. Ariel was the only way they could stop these Apex events is if the ESPN crew does something about it, because if ESPN they're the ones that are showing the UFC obviously the pay-per-view, but if they don't want it there, if the ESPN's we don't want these no crowd events, UFC has to do something about it, or else they could lose their deal, which I doubt would happen, but
they just signed a new deal recently. They signed a new deal, I think.
No
or they're going to sign a new year next year, I think. I can't remember exactly.
They didn't make no agreements on no more Apex. Apparently, the Apex, I remember at the beginning of the year, there was X amount of events that were going to be at the Apex, and everyone was pissed about it. I mean, I don't like it, but I don't mind it necessarily. You still got good fights. It has its own thing, look, Sean Strickland came from the Apex and he became champion. It's almost like they're coming from the regional scene, but they're coming from the Apex,
Oh yeah, that's really the thing about it. You got to earn your way to a card with fans. You got to earn that. You got to really, because you notice these dudes going to fight losing streaks their next fights in the Apex. Not saying that's just they're throwing them in the dungeon, but it's going to be a lower profile fight that they won't want to put in front of a crowd, and you got to earn your way to those crowds. Right after this card, we got UFC Mexico next Saturday, so it's good. We got 2 cards back to back.
Yeah, I already got the breakdown. done today, early morning. I was working all night, bro. I'm probably tired because of that now.
Oh, no, I get it, man. Always working, always getting that money. Guys, definitely go watch this UFC Mexico breakdown as well. You got that out early for his viewers. Like I said, always putting out good content. And yeah, that's really it for me, unless you guys got anything else. It's really it for me. It's a good card. Before we get out of here, how do y'all feel about it? 1 out of 10.
I think it's 8.5 or 9. I think it's 9 out of 10. Probably the best card this year. I mean, definitely the best card this year. Way better than 297.
Nah, yeah, I agree. What you
I was
think?
gonna say a 9. I mean, we was on the phone last night, Antoine. I told you that people are so blindsided by 299 and 300. They're just forgetting this card. It's gonna be a banger. When was the last time Volk put on a bad card as a main event too? Like
Never.
all his undercards have been good, man. So
yeah, no, seriously, like this is the last thing I'll say about that is like it's pretty crazy. It kind of reminds me of like, you know, when Usman was champion, Usman, like all his title defenses were super entertaining. Like from the Gilbert Burns storyline, they're best friends. Now they gotta fight each other, and like
that was sad, yeah.
Yeah, seriously, like they were crying in the cage, and he had the whole Kobe Covington, like because that was when Trump was like president. So that was when like especially the first fight when he fought Kobe at 245. So that was when Kobe was like at it, and that was before he lost the first time. So that was like at the beginning of the Kobe title era and stuff like that. And like Usman, then you know, like yeah, and then like the Masvidal stuff on 6 days notice and Fight Island, and then you had to go over there and do that. Like Usman, like he's a legend, bro. And I only say that because Volkanovski, he's had movies, bro. Like movies, like having to fight Max all those times, and then he stepped up in weight, almost won, and then he had, you know, even fighting Korean Zombie like that, and like, and then having, you know, fighting Yair the way he did, and you know, beating him, and it's just really cool, man. It would suck to see the title reign come to an end. He's the longest reigning champion at the moment. He's had it for since 2019, December 14th, 2019. That's when UFC 245 was. That's when he won it. So it's been a long time, man. It would suck to see him go. It would officially be the end of like all those champions, like like, you know, 2020 and all that had the belt and all that. So it'd be over. Like Israel would have lost his, Usman would have lost his, you know, Volkanovski would have lost his, you know, like it's, you know, all these new champions. Yeah, Valentina lost hers, Amanda's gone, like all that kind of stuff, you know. So
what do y'all think about the go ahead.
I was gonna say Volk is like a year away from passing someone on the title reign list. So I mean, if he wins this fight, I don't know who the next is. Maybe it's
Movsar.
And I think Movsar doesn't beat him though.
Yeah, I think that's a not easy fight, but that's just like a better fight for Volk. I mean, you see him and Ortega. You know, he didn't tap to Ortega. He ain't tapping nothing, man. So yeah, what were you gonna say though? My bad.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. I was saying, what do you guys think about the Volkanovski parody that he made about him being parodied? What do y'all think about that?
You know, that was hilarious, man. It was really cool to see him like really just attack that. You know, he's getting older in the cage and older in life. You feel me? Like everybody before he's 35, that's 5 years before 40. You feel me? So he knows he doesn't. The best years are behind him. You know, so it's not like he's gonna get faster at 36, faster at 37. So really just, you know, you just having fun with it, you know, And I'm glad he's aware of the narrative as well, because that only makes you train harder to want to shut that young dude up, to show that I still got it. You know, it's crazy. I mean, you know, in this picture, he has hair. I remember before he had hair, and now he's considered old. It's just crazy, bro. Like, it's really crazy to see him go before, like, and then getting the respect. Now he's a GOAT, like a GOAT. Not saying he's the GOAT, even though some do believe if he wins this fight, he will become the official greatest featherweight of all time on Saturday.
I think he's already there. I already think he's there. I think he's there right now.
Like,
3
you know,
wins over Max is crazy, dude. Like that alone is so big, bro. Like 2 title defenses against Max, beat Yair and Ortega, 2 of the top contenders at the time. Like, come on, man. Beat Zombie. Zombie's iconic. I wouldn't say he was like one of the best, but he's iconic, you know.
Right, exactly. No, I agree, man. But yeah, that was it for me. This definitely ain't gonna be the last time Pickham's on the show, y'all. So
appreciate you guys having me on, man.
Of course, man. Of course. Love talking to you, man. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us, bro. And again, thank y'all so much for joining us as well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Social medias will be in the description. We're gonna have Pickham's as well if you want to follow him on Twitter, or now known as X. And yeah, thank y'all so much for joining us. I'm going to be back with our next episode. We're going to do the preview of that UFC Mexico card. That's a stat card. Can't wait to preview that. It's like 2 main events with Ortega and Rodriguez.
5 rounds. Both are 5 rounds, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. But again, thank y'all so much for joining us.
Of course. For
and yeah, God bless you guys. And good night.
Later.
See you. And